The main character's name is Liang Qiyu. Because of ignorance, I didn't cross over to this great world. A world where aquatic monsters are worshipped as gods. Due to his recklessness, he was captured by a group of cultivators to be used as bait for an aquatic monster. While lives can only be counted with contentment hand, he has awakened a trach peak system. It allowed him to sign a contract with any ancient mythical beast he encountered. Furthermore, his strength increased exponentially. But would everything really be as easy as he thought? Behind the system, however, was another manipulator. Let's get to the main story. The story begins in a vast, boundless space with mountains, rivers, and lush vegetation, a beautiful land where anyone who enjoys fishing and gardening could live. While enjoying the scenery, a loud voice suddenly called out, "Wade." The view drew closer. Beside the reeds, a hesitant voice asked, "Wade, what are you doing?" In front was a young man facing away, so only his neatly tied long brown hair was visible. A strong wind blew, scattering his long hair and revealing a stunningly handsome face that would captivate countless hearts. He stood still, enjoying the wind, his carefree gaze incredibly captivating. Another older man, who looked quite similar, turned around and chuckled, "You fool, what are you staring at?" He suddenly woke up and tilted his father's head, his eyes sparkling like a puppy. Looking at this scene, he couldn't stand it. The man ruffled his hair affectionately, "You silly boy, don't you recognize your father?" He remained stunned, letting his father ruffle his hair, gazing intently at him. "Hurry up," his father said proudly, pointing to the sky, "come help with the nets, let's see how much we caught today, you'll see my skills in a moment." He remained still in the wind, each gust enhancing the charm of his puppy-like face. After snapping out of his daze, he ran to his father, and they both headed towards a small boat hut by the riverbank. Then followed a cheerful fishing scene between father and son. The fish were quickly caught, and the father's excitement increased, as did the son's admiration. They shared unforgettable moments. When a crab pinched his foot, causing him unbearable pain, his father just laughed heartily. Truly, a father's love is like Mount Tai, though where Mount Tai is, I don't know, I only see plains. Immediately afterward, he retaliated against his father, hitting him hard in the stomach while he was eating grilled fish, almost causing him to choke on a fishbone. It seems a son's love is equally cold. They also carved random drawings on the wooden trees, completely engrossed in their activity. Peaceful moments passed until the late afternoon, when the red glow of the setting sun made the scene picturesque. They sat contentedly, each holding a betel leaf stem, watching the sunset. The father affectionately stroked his son's head, showing his affection. Suddenly, he looked down at the water and saw a red fish. Man and fish silently gazed at each other for a long time. It was as if they shared a glance that intoxicated them for half a lifetime. Seeing the fish swimming away, he exclaimed in surprise, "A red carp." "Don't run," he said. Before he had time to think, he jumped into the water to chase it. Underwater, every movement became more difficult. He held his breath and concentrated on swimming forward. His hands frantically moved through the vast expanse of water. The fish is gone. Why are there no fish underwater? However, he didn't give up and continued to dive deeper. This is strange, why can't I move underwater? As his body began to feel the immense pressure, he gritted his teeth. Damn it, I can't move at all. His thoughts began to fade, bubbles rose slowly to the surface, darkness enveloped him. Save me, father, he screamed, desperately searching for his father. A quiet night, the moon hung high above, the boat glided across the water, cutting through the waves. He slowly regained consciousness after a daze. He called out for his father. There were still some stains on his body and face. Instead of his father's gentle voice, a cold voice responded, "Oh, you're awake." He looked at the two figures in front of him, his eyes wide with disbelief. His hands and feet were bound tightly, making it difficult to move. One of them was the vicious old man, Lai Tu. He looked at him with a mocking smile. "Miss your father already." The other looked like a carefree young master. He indifferently turned away without speaking. Zhang Dairen. Looking at his bound hands, he was slightly confused. He struggled to speak, asking innocently, "What are you doing?" He, Lai Tu chuckled, not answering him but instead flattering the young master beside him. "Brilliant, Zhang Dairen. We tricked this little kid to lead the way, to use him as bait for the monster in the water." The three of them stood on a small boat, drifting towards the middle of the river. The dark night provided excellent cover for their shady business. Lai Tu finally turned to him. seeing his dejected look, and sneered, "We're here to shield you from the wind while you slept soundly." He came to his senses, looking down at the bottom of the boat. With disbelief, he exclaimed, "It was a dream." "That's right," he began to recall everything. "I've been in this world for a month now. The original owner died of a serious illness, and I'm here to replace him. The previous him was not only sick but also poor, living in an old blanket. The original owner had lost his mother at birth and was raised solely by his father. That was the same father who was in his memories until 3 months ago, when he passed away from a cold, but the feelings that remain in my heart are real, even if this isn't my original body. We shared many beautiful moments together. These are feelings I've never experienced." He started to remember his past life. He also struggled in a lonely, sad state in the hospital, watching others receive family care while he could only wish. "After a month, I still didn't understand the original owner's relationships, and as a result, I was tricked by Lie 2 into becoming bait for hunting monsters." He looked ahead. The boat continued downstream, in waters that seemed peaceful but actually had hidden currents at the bottom. "A month after transmigrating, I discovered this world possesses extraordinary powers, similar to the young master and his sycophant. Humanity can achieve incredible realms through cultivation, and those who embark on this path are called martial artists. The cold, taciturn, but extremely despicable Zhang Dairen is one of them. As for other creatures in this world, besides humans, other animals can also cultivate, such as the monster lurking beneath the river. Such creatures are often called." Before he could think about it all, Mr. Zhang suddenly came in a hurry. The sea monster Lie 2 looked scared. It seemed like even though he liked to flatter, he wasn't very brave. Sweat dripped from his forehead, revealing his anxiety. He slowly turned his head to look at it. A crescent shape appeared beneath the surface, surrounding the bow of the boat, preventing it from moving forward. A huge creature thrashed, causing the small boat to violently sway. The 3 people on board were thrown around. Mr. Zhang pursed his lips in fear. "Damn it, didn't I say the water monster was only half a person tall? Damn it, it's huge." His curse seemed pointless as the enormous creature crushed the boat, leaving everyone staring in terror, trembling like aspen leaves. It had long tentacles, scales, and terrifying spines. "It's coming this way." Wade trembled, stood up, and huddled inside. Mr. Zhang ignored him, furious at the inaccurate intelligence. "It's coming this way," he muttered, trying to remain calm and observe. He stepped half a foot into the water, searching for an opportunity. This moment had finally arrived. "All these years, I've waited for this moment." He raised his hand, preparing his stance. 10 years of arduous training, unmatched in the world, one strike to shake the galaxy. With that, he swung a powerful fist toward the water, shouting, "This punch contains 10 years of my power, can you withstand it?" The monster surfaced, opening its enormous, crocodile-like jaws, aiming for him. Its hideous green eyes and sharp fangs were terrifying. Mr. Zhang's entire body was only a fraction of the monster's mouth. With a loud crash, the monster lunged, snapping the boat in two. Mr. Zhang wouldn't stand a chance. The power was terrifying. Everyone on board was thrown overboard. After its display of power, the monster swam away, leaving Wade gasping for air, clinging to a piece of driftwood, and Lie 2, pale and shaken, sitting on the remaining half of the boat. He trembled uncontrollably. His voice was filled with unconcealed terror. I can't die here." Suddenly, he seemed to realize something. He sharply turned to look at Wade, who jumped, looking back at him in alarm. "It's over." One disaster followed another. He decided to use Wade as bait. Quickly grabbing a small knife, he stabbed Wade's hand. Blood gushed out, attracting the monster. Without hesitation, he kicked Wade deep into the water. Blood continued to pour out, quickly mixing with the water, as Wade, exhausted, sank deeper. His hands were bound together. He couldn't move. Water filled his mouth and nose. He gasped, "Help," struggling to turn. Gasping, coughing, he gritted his teeth and used his teeth to bite through the rope binding his hands, fighting for survival. The monster, following the scent of blood, found Wade suspended in the water. It was a dark beast, slowly approaching its prey. He was almost exhausted. He relaxed, letting himself drift. Something's wrong." His vision blurred until it went completely black. A gentle voice called out in the thick darkness, "Wade." His father's worried face appeared before him, trying to wake him. "You fool, wake up." "Father." His eyes grew heavy with exhaustion. unable to distinguish between reality and dream. If this were real, how wonderful it would be. He reached out to his father, wanting him to grab his hand and pull him from the icy water. In this illusion, their hands almost touched, as if they could save each other. Suddenly, he reached out with all his might, grasping his father's arm. In reality, he grasped a piece of driftwood, desperately clinging to it. Finally, he escaped the peril, surfacing from the water, safe from drowning. But suddenly, he seemed to realize something. His eyes snapped open. His father's boat. The splashing grew louder. The monster was getting closer. Even if he died, he was determined to recover his memories with his father. He let go of the driftwood and dived deeper. The moment he let go, all his strength drained away, as if something was pulling him into the deep lake. Gasping, he anxiously looked toward where the boat had sunk. Above, the monster circled, waiting to devour him. Very quickly, the monster reached him, circling him. As he continued to sink, man and beast swam deeper into the vast expanse of the river. I've tried my best. He forced himself to stay conscious, but it seemed impossible. He only sank deeper. Father, his vision blurred, his hands waved weakly. I'm so sorry, I really. Before he could finish, a sharp pain shot through his back. The monster had headbutted him, slamming him against the hard riverbed. His whole body ached. It lunged at him, its mouth open, revealing sharp teeth, its eyes blazing with ferocity. He squeezed his eyes shut, trying to escape the terror. Right before him, the monster's mouth opened wide. It lunged, almost engulfing him. There was nowhere to escape. He felt utterly exhausted, his eyes closed, his hands limp, accepting his fate. Suddenly, something appeared above him. In the water, it resembled an intricately carved ancient table, with strange symbols appearing around it. Wade was pulled upward by the bubbles. He was still unconscious and dazed, unaware of what was happening to his body. The Jade Peak was activated. It detected the possibility of collecting spirit energy. Successful collection would awaken the ability to control water. An intricately carved table appeared in the water, hovering in mid-air, with green symbols appearing around it. Spirit energy can be collected. The water deity is collecting it. Collection complete. Successful refinement. Awakening in progress. Body regeneration underway. He vaguely awoke from his dreamlike state. His eyes slowly opened. He realized his situation in the water and was having difficulty breathing. Isn't he already dead? Why did he die in the water? His memories from before he lost consciousness flashed back to a crocodile-like monster that opened its mouth wide and wanted to eat him, but following its momentum, he couldn't avoid its snout. Underwater, he struggled with all his might to swim to the surface, to breathe, anything to survive. Survival was paramount. Confused, he flailed his arms. Something was different. It felt like he was walking on land underwater. The resistance was gone. A message appeared before him. Water manipulation ability acquired. Consumed stamina to control water. A trail of light blue bubbles appeared on his palm, swirling around his finger. Water control. He looked at the water flowing around him, secretly suspecting it even affected his breathing. Finally, after processing everything, he suddenly realized, with astonishment, that he could breathe underwater. His wounds had healed. He looked at his palm, where the old man had stabbed him. While he wasn't paying attention, a pair of angry blue eyes charged at him from behind. It opened its gaping maw again, aiming for him, to finish what it had started. Wade only then noticed it, turning his head in panic. He raised his hands to shield himself, shrinking in fear. Feeling the expected threat hadn't arrived. Despite his unease, he slowly opened his eyes. He saw the gentle water that had enveloped him moments before was now incredibly powerful, binding the monster, preventing it from advancing. The beast struggled helplessly, his eyes widened in astonishment. He had created this. Could this be the system they talk about in novels? He looked at the message still floating before him, silently contemplating this possibility. After all, he was someone who had transmigrated. Unexpected things could happen. So, I'm no longer limited underwater. He was a little skeptical, but he tried to guess. He could even control it. This was truly fortunate. It had saved his life. While he was still pondering his abilities, the beast thrashed wildly, nearly breaking free from the water restraints. No, the control had a time limit. Seeing the beast thrashing and the water restraints weakening, he grew increasingly anxious. The monster, freed from its bonds, furiously charged again, aiming to bite him in two. But it only managed to bite water. as he quickly leaped upwards. This wouldn't last, he dodged its attacks, weaving around it. Was there any way to subdue it? Just when he didn't know how to escape, another message appeared. Blood-pact subjugation ability acquired, effective via the blood of another creature. Ancient incantations can forge a pact with aquatic beasts. That's it, he smiled, feeling incredibly lucky. Facing the wildly charging beast, he was calmer, no longer running away. It thrashed its tail, launching itself forward with lightning speed towards him. The monster's mouth opened wide, aiming to devour him. He channeled his power, wrapping a thin strand of water around himself. Controlling the water, he released it, once again binding the beast, preventing its movement. First, he had to control it. The moment the beast lunged, it was pulled back, the long strand of water tightly wrapped around it, preventing normal movement. It roared and thrashed, perhaps its efforts would prove useful. It broke free from the restraints and charged, but he leaned to the side, evading it. His hand glowed red, revealing strange characters resembling a blood-pact subjugation spell. The fiery red characters coalesced, forming a piece of paper in his hand. He quickly leaped and stuck the paper to the monster's head. The sudden attack caught the beast off guard, but it thrashed violently, shaking him. However, determined to subdue the creature, he held on. One of his eyes turned red, veins pulsing. This was a battle of willpower. His eye glowed brighter, more bloodshot and terrifying. Was he about to fail? His whole body trembled, reaching his limit. The red eye was turning black. Memories from his past life flooded back. Lying in a cold hospital room, breathing through an oxygen tank, he had to survive. His willpower pulled him back. Another red talisman appeared in his hand. Insignificant creature, submit to me. With unwavering determination, he forcefully affixed the talisman to the monster. Moments later, on the shore, the scene was peaceful, a stark contrast to the underwater battle. Wade struggled to his feet, climbing out of the water, soaked to the bone and exhausted. Alive, alive, he took a deep breath, tilting his head back, inhaling the fresh air of life. From below, the monster slowly surfaced, swimming towards him. He sat up, grinning triumphantly. Finally, he'd subdued the creature. He let it approach. Another message appeared. Peak Master Liang Chu refined the Spirit Water Marsh Turtle, 5% fusion with the Spirit Water Marsh, no aquatic beast subjugation, amazing, consumed 80 Spirit Water Marsh points to evolve, evaluation, Spirit Water Marsh Turtle, origin, Hoi Quas Great Lord, can awaken those with incomplete life force, the weak and small. He pointed to the empty ground beneath him. Rest easy, I'll call you when needed. The monster, its ferocity gone, looked at him with bright eyes. After subduing it, a mental link was formed. They could communicate anytime, or it could contact him. He sat cross-legged, watching the crocodile disappear underwater, lost in thought. Finished, he stood up, humming a tune. Time to go home, get something to eat, and rest. Luckily, I have a map of this area in my memories. It's not far. He walked home, leaving behind a peaceful and quiet scene. Just like that, the monster parted the water and left through the grass. It approached a cave deep in the riverbed. Inside the cave was a fairy-like scene, with a beautiful, fragrant lotus pond. It ventured further in. The next day, in the bustling marketplace, amidst the busy crowd, a group of people appeared. Zheng, the steward. Steward Zheng walked alongside Lai Tu, who obsequiously smiled and flattered a flamboyantly dressed middle-aged man. He had found a new master. Wagging his tail and strutting along, 2 bodyguards followed behind him. People whispered and gossiped, watching the 4 men ahead. Who are they? Are they going to Wade's house? That one just glanced at Lai Tu. What trouble is Wade from the Zhao mansion causing again? A handsome young man standing behind them overheard the conversation. He was Li Libo, Liang Chu's close friend, and he looked up at Wade with concern. His face showed clear worry. Oh no, Wade's in trouble. The group quickly arrived at Wade's house, led by Lai Tu. He grinned maliciously. That brat Liang Chu is dead. His property will be mine. Just what I need to make up for the failure of this mission. Turning away, his face showed anger. It's all because of that weak Zhang, he muttered, several frightening scars visible on his face. He unleashed his anger on Wade's door, kicking it down. In an instant, he regained his smile, rubbing his hands together. Steward Zheng, please go inside. Then he looked ahead and let out a leering smile. Then, shock and horror washed over him. Lai Tu's face went pale. No way, he pointed at Wade, who was still sleepy, yawning in bed. You're not dead, he stammered, only managing to get those words out after a long pause. He looked at them calmly. What are you doing? He asked, his eyes half-lidded, his demeanor languid. Lai Tu stammered, pointing at him. You're not dead. Steward Jung appeared behind him, causing Lai Tu to jump. What's with the dead and not dead nonsense? Why are you always so hasty and reckless? Lai Tu turned, smiling obsequiously. Master Zheng, this is Liang Qiu. Zheng Xiang sneered. Oh, so you're Liang Chu. I didn't expect you to still be alive. You've got quite the luck, haven't you? Lai Tu echoed him. Indeed, misfortunes live long. Zheng Xiang gestured to his subordinates. Take him down. The subordinates quickly grabbed Liang Chu. He panicked. What do you want? One subordinate, annoyed by his talkativeness, punched him in the stomach. Shut up. He looked at Liang Chu with glee. Explanation. Humph, Master Zheng, wanting to benefit the villagers, hired the martial artist, Master Zhang, to subdue the water monster. Lai Tu pointed at Liang Chu. You colluded with the water monster, killing Master Zhang. This cost our Zhao clan a large sum of money and put the villagers in danger. Liang Chu, beaten and spitting blood, managed to say, it was you set a trap, using me as bait to lure the water monster. He leaned close, spitting in his face. You killed Master Zhang and you dare show your face. You're arrogant, you're a monster. Liang Chu fell into contemplation, recalling his past life, when he was shunned by everyone, living alone, a monster. In my past life, I lived alone, I was called a monster. Falsely accused of theft, constantly teased, no parents, so everyone thought I was a thief. Liang Chu alone bore the brunt of their laughter and scorn. He glanced at them, filled with resentment, but powerless. The man continued to taunt him. Oh my, those are the eyes of a monster. If you've got the guts, fight me. But I'm called a monster because I'm ruthless enough, Liang Chu thought, and without hesitation, he punched the man, causing him to grimace and spit blood. Returning to the present, Liang Chu looked at them with determination. Even if my abilities are revealed, surrendering isn't my style. Liang Chu struggled violently. He knocked several subordinates away and leaped into the air. This caused a nearby water basin to fall. Liang Chu, sitting on the ground, thought, even if I truly become the monster you say I am, I'll still take a bite out of you. He absorbed the spilled water, the water flowing up his arm. Lai Tu, thrown back, ran to tattle. He dared to fight back. I say, Steward Zheng, let's just take him back to the manor. He slyly added, we're short of people to feed that thing, aren't we? This parentless boy seems suitable. Zheng Xiang followed his suggestion. If you agree to become Zhao Lao Ye's adopted son, the Zhang matter can be dropped, otherwise, today, I'll chop off your leg. The villagers watching from afar gossiped. Another adopted son. I heard that no one ever hears from anyone who enters the Zhao manor from the neighboring county. The manor has taken in quite a few people lately. Strange. As they talked, a loud voice echoed, startling everyone. Let's see who dares to bully little Wade here. The village head, banging his stick, entered, not forgetting to threaten. This village head isn't dead yet. Zheng Xiang, puzzled, pointed at him. You're not dead, old man. He was driven mad by him and shouted loudly. What are you saying? You're the old man who has a position in the old dynasty. What do you want to do? Are you planning to attack the person in front of you? Why did he hold his tongue when he was scolded? The village headman, still furious, pointed at him and continued to scold. What's this? Even your Zhao Lao Jia has to give me some face. If you speak another word, I'll lie down and die right here. Zheng Xiang was scolded furiously, and was incredibly angry, but still tried to appease the stubborn old man. Then he turned sullen, ignoring him. Old man, I'm not settling this with you today. Wait till I report this to Zhao Lao Jia. This isn't over. Zheng Xiang coldly snorted and walked out. Let's go. Lai Tu left, but turned back to sneer. Like your father, you have no sense of right and wrong. Then he turned and left. Inside, the village headman looked at him sitting on the ground and instructed Wade, for some things, try to avoid them a bit. Liang Chu obediently replied, thank you, village headman, Wade will remember your words. After speaking, he and Li Libo turned and left. Don't watch anymore, disperse. After everyone left, Liang Chu looked at his arm, surrounded by water, and silently wondered, how many more times will this happen? The village headman can save me once, but not every time. The village headman is quite far from my house now. I have to be more proactive, this system is my chance. Liang Chu clenched his fist with determination. The system panel appeared, detected spirit water pool, pet evolution increased by 0.1. Liang Chu stared at the system panel, dumbfounded. Spirit water pool. The system shows golden, uninscribed, immobile apex pool, also known as water monkey, fusion rate 5. Wade stood before a small pond. He placed his hand between his eyebrows, seemingly summoning something. After subduing that Taihua ugly fish, I can summon it any time through a spiritual link. The surface of the water gradually showed ripples. He stood before the pond, watching it form a small whirlpool. Suddenly, the waves rose and churned, as if something huge was about to appear. And then, a tiny crocodile emerged from the water. He knelt down, questioning it, "Where's my big ugly fish?" A line of information appeared, subdued aquatic beast, can adjust body size at will to control energy consumption, evolution increased by 1, small chibi ugly fish, extremely low energy consumption. He stroked his chin in admiration, it even has this function, no wonder it's the system. Wade turned to the crocodile and curiously asked, "Oh, right, where did you find that spirit water pool? Lead the way." Both jumped into the water. Wade swam after the crocodile. Under the deep water, the crocodile led him to a cave full of seaweed. Wade pulled aside the obstructing seaweed, silently assessing the cave. "Seems like we've arrived inside an underwater cave." He approached to examine the place. It's magnificent. Deep within the vast cave, strange things were emitting a faint golden light everywhere. He looked at them, his mind racing. Could these be the legendary Bao Shi, treasured objects? He touched them, and the system's voice rang out, "Detected Bao Shi containing spirit water pool, please choose to absorb." This world truly has heavenly treasures, absorbing their extraordinary power is like eating a giant tomato. Or these ancient plants and special herbs are called Bao Shi. I heard that in the backyard of the Zhao Manor, there's a cold pond. At the bottom of that pond, some special spiritual herbs grow. Zhao Laojia uses it year-round to attract martial artists as guests. He quickly picked them up, his face full of excitement. "I want to see how much spirit water pool these Bao Shi can provide." He looked at the little crocodile and briskly asked, "Hey, do you have some time to help me?" Immediately, the crocodile rolled over, playing dead. He was speechless. While picking up the Bao Shi, he scolded, "So lazy, calling you immobile is fitting." He climbed ashore with many Bao Shi. Wade held it up, incredibly precious. Without hesitation, he bit into it. A message appeared, "Detected spirit water pool, can be used to increase the harmony of the pool spirit and the evolution level of aquatic beasts." He ate while praising, "Delicious." Then came continuous notifications, "Spirit water pool essence +1, followed by his frenzied eating. Wade ate until his stomach was full. The notification panel appeared, "Refining pool spirit, white water monkey, fusion rate, 7%, spirit water pool lacks a dominant aquatic beast, Taihuan Gak consumes 800 points of spirit water pool, evolution assessment." He looked at the notification, silently considering, what about the pool spirit fusion rate and aquatic beast evolution level? I'll prioritize improving myself first. His finger pressed the add button. At this moment, his whole body glowed pale blue like a hidden tiger so clearly that he could easily see and feel his body rapidly increasing with these strong powers facing those people of the past who could have fought a battle if he added the power of the water. He looked at the notice board. Then, looking at his palm accumulating water power, he judged his water control ability to be around 45 kilograms. He needed to accumulate more for a few more days. He couldn't eat today. He leaned on his power and looked away. Wade slowly considered, the most important thing now was the future economic problem. Autumn was approaching, and crocodiles were slowing their blood flow, about to hibernate. Fishing couldn't be relied upon for the time being. Suddenly, a fish plopped down where he was standing. Wade looked at the fish, then at the small crocodile slowly crawling ashore. He grinned, hugging the crocodile and praising it incessantly, promising, his mind raced, "Then this temporary economic crisis can be solved. Just take it to the market." The sunlight gradually appeared. He held the money bag in his hand, full of joy. A large golden fish sold for 81, a small profit. The merchants in this world were far easier to persuade than the vegetable vendors he remembered from his past life. He held the money bag, his heart restless, having solved the spirit water pond problem. next he needed to find time to settle accounts with Lai Tu properly. Liang Chu appeared from somewhere, greeting him cheerfully, "Isn't this Wade?" "Oh, we had a little misunderstanding a few days ago, my little brother was just about to find you to apologize, what a coincidence," he scratched his head and chuckled. "My boat is nearby, let's have a delicious meal and clear up the misunderstanding," he excitedly pointed toward something. "Rest assured, it's just us." On the surface, I'm smiling brightly, but I already have a plan, just us, let's see where you can run. It seemed he could see through his intentions. Wade chuckled. Then he replied, "Excellent, just the two of us, I'm very relieved." A notification appeared, Gold 81, Aquatic Beast, Immovable, Peak Water Monkey, Fusion Rate 7.5. On a quiet night, in a small courtyard behind Lai Tu's house, Lai Tu knelt on the bricks. Before him stood Jing Xiang, wearing brown clothes and hands behind his back, surrounded by 3 men in identical light green uniforms, each carrying a stick. Jing Xiang said ominously, "Lately, there have been quite a few accidents in the experimental manor." He turned his sharp gaze back and said, "The manor lacks alchemy ingredients, and this Liang Chu is an orphan with no relatives, you understand, right?" Lai Tu, his face bruised and covered in sweat, said, "I understand, this Liang Chu brat definitely won't escape, tomorrow, I'll bring him back." Jing Xiang leaned close to Lai Tu, his eyes cold. "If you do well, the Zhao Patriarch will invite those great masters to help you become an immortal." Lai Tu's face lit up, "Really?" Jing Xiang nodded towards him with a sly smile, "Of course, it's true." He was so moved that his hands trembled. "I'm about to become an immortal." He ripped open his shirt, revealing numerous wounds and strange red characters on his body. "Finally, it's almost done." He threw his head back, his eyes wide, and shouted, "I'm about to become an immortal." The scene changes to a small boat with 2 men sitting opposite each other. On the table is a large bowl, the surrounding water is quite calm. Lai Tu, holding a spoon, stirred the bowl. He looked at Liang Chu. "Wade, look at the scenery here, it's beautiful, there aren't any other boats around." Secretly, he dropped a red pill into the bowl. "Let's have a delicious meal and settle our misunderstanding." Liang Chu looked at him suspiciously. "Are you sure there are no other boats around?" Lai Tu smiled triumphantly. "Of course, I've thoroughly checked." He imagined Liang Chu poisoned, clutching his throat, foaming at the mouth. He thought, "As long as you drink this fish soup, even if you scream until your voice is hoarse, no one will be able to save you." Liang Chu suddenly stood up, a stream of water appeared in his hand, his eyes narrowed as he looked at him, then, "Good." Lai Tu's face turned pale. "Wade." Water covered his entire face. He raised his hands to his face, his skin turned pale in the water. In his eyes, he saw Liang Chu holding out his right hand. The scene shifts to evening, night falls, the sky is full of moon and stars. Lai Tu has woken up, water drips from his nose. He was startled to find himself bound by a thick rope. Liang Chu sat before him, his right hand propping up his chin, his left hand tossing a brown cloth bag, smiling softly. "You slept well, didn't you?" Lai Tu's face turned green with fright. "What do you want?" Liang Chu held up the bag, waving it in front of his face with a sneer. "It seems that for you to let me into the Zhao Manor, you received quite a bit of benefit, huh? This is at least 2 taels, right?" Lai Tu looked at him fearfully. "Wade, please listen to my explanation." Meanwhile, Liang Chu turned his face to the left, looking into the distance. "Do you see any strange creatures around?" Lai Tu stammered, "Isn't this where you caught the water monster last night?" Behind Liang Chu, a huge crocodile suddenly appeared. Its eyes were golden, its mouth wide open, revealing long, sharp teeth. Then he raised his head and opened his mouth, saying, "Sea monster." Liang Chu raised his left hand and gently cupped the crocodile's chin and smiled and said that it was true that he used to be a sea monster, but now he has become my pet. "Didn't you say that I was a monster?" Lai Tu trembled, looking at him and stammering, "Monster, you really are a monster." He repeatedly banged his head, pleading, "Wade, please don't eat me, I can tell you everything." He looked at him and said, "C.Y. Zheng, the steward, wants me in the Zhao Manor, they've been recruiting many families lately." Lai Tu immediately responded, "Those people are ingredients for the Zhao Patriarch's ascension to immortality. He needs to refine immortal pills, and those people are taken to be used in the alchemy." His mind flashed with images of men with strange symbols on their stomachs, bound and lying on the ground. surrounded by people in long, black robes with their heads bowed. Liang Chu stroked his chin with his left hand, his face thoughtful. It seems you've captured quite a few innocent people, haven't you? Lai Tu looked at him fearfully, saying, I was forced to do it. He secretly thought, damn it, one day, the Zhao Patriarch and his followers will turn you into an ingredient for their alchemy, making you wish you were dead. He begged, Wade, please. At that moment, Liang Chu, holding a sharp stone, flung it through the air towards him. Blood splattered. Liang Chu, covered in blood, his hand still clutching the stone, said, but you saw everything. His eyes gleamed with a cold, pale blue light. Me, with my monstrous face. Lai Tu's body was dragged underwater by the crocodile monster's claws. Liang Chu thought to himself, he brought me to the manor for alchemy. If I hadn't dealt with him, it would have been me. He sat alone on the boat, thinking, it seems I need a strong backing to buy myself time to become stronger. Lai Tu slowly sank beneath the water. His stomach, bearing the strange symbols, vibrated. A status panel appeared, showing 2 tails of gold, an immovable crocodile monster, and 5% water monkey fusion. It was a tranquil evening, the sun soft, distant mountains stretching to the horizon, the sky clear blue. Pale pink clouds drifted lazily. A white egret flew past the small boat. It landed on the boat's bow and then walked away. Suddenly, an arm emerged from the water, gripping the side of the boat. Water splashed, startling the egret into flight. A soaked Liang Chu climbed aboard. A large bag was slung over his right shoulder. A small, adorable green crocodile was on his left. He smiled at it. He raised his right hand. Water flowed up, silently appearing. He thought, having real power is very convenient. He pulled 2 large, wriggling fish from his bag, thinking, it's been 3 days since I dealt with Lai Tu. To hide, I've been pretending to be a normal fisherman, going out early and returning late to sell fish. The lotus pond has become off limits. Liang Chu blankly watched the 2 fish wriggling on the boat, pulling another from the bag. He worriedly thought, and this boat, I used Lai Tu to get it. He imagined himself whining to an old man with gray hair and a man in brown clothes about Lai Tu bullying others. The man in brown enraged, his fists clenched, shouting, that damned Lai Tu. He thought of the shadowy forces, the faceless people, and pondered, however, the Zhao Manor's power won't easily let Lai Tu's sudden disappearance go. It'll certainly lead them to me. He thoughtfully considered, only by becoming a martial artist, and quickly, can I protect myself. His thoughts continued, and the fastest way to become a martial artist is to join a martial arts school. In Pingyang town, there are 3, and the strongest is the Yang Martial Arts School. The scene shifted to a large wooden gate bearing the name, Yang Martial Arts School. He pictured a man in furs, his right hand holding a large sword with a jade hilt. He mused, I hear the headmaster of the Yang Martial Arts School possesses legendary abilities, capable of breaking rocks and snapping gold. That's why they can maintain their position. His mind returned to reality. He happily thought, if I can join this martial arts school, the Zhao family won't dare act rashly. After all, the disappearance of a member would cause quite a stir. The little crocodile monster on his shoulder let out a small squeak. Liang Chu jolted awake, smiling brightly, turning to look at the little monster affectionately. It was unnecessary worry, he said. He thought, since my last level up, my body has gradually adapted to the growing power. My mental strength has also increased considerably. Maybe I can tame 2 or even 5 more immovable creatures. He stood at the bow of the boat, the little monster in his right hand, a large bag in his left, gazing into the distance. Let's continue fishing, he said. He dove into the water with the little monster. In the water, he felt his movements becoming increasingly more agile after his awakening. Liang Chu watched the little monster swimming underwater and said, Immovable one, let's continue our race. He realized that competing in speed with immovable objects was his recent training method. The little monster glanced at Liang Qiu. He kicked powerfully, creating a whirlpool around himself. He thought, this technique is about water control, compressing the water to its maximum underfoot, then exploding. He continued swimming in the dark water, pondering as he dived deeper. The drawback is that it's not sustainable and will quickly drain my energy, but for speed, nothing can match it for now. Suddenly, a large fish's shadow glided towards him from behind. He jumped, saying, "What's that?" Then he followed the pink fish swimming towards him. Liang Chu exclaimed, "That's a baoangu," upon seeing the beautiful pink fish with sharp fins extending from its head to its tail. Images of three creatures flashed in his mind, a beetle with sharp pincers, a two-headed shark, and finally, a whale with golden eyes. Liang Chu thought, in this world, certain creatures with special powers have evolved. This swamp-dwelling fish is called the Baoengu. He was startled to see a pair of Baoengu appearing before him. He was surprised, thinking, it's usually very difficult to encounter one. Today, I've seen two. Suddenly, Liang Chu saw the two fish moving in different directions. He looked at his little monster, pointed forward with his left hand, and shouted, "Immovable one, go catch that one." The little monster instantly transformed into a larger form. It rushed quickly towards the red snapper. And he rushed towards the remaining fish. Liang Chu frowned, thinking, damn it, I should have brought a fishing net. He used the water manipulation technique again and sped after it. He raised his left hand, performing the water control spell. A sphere of water instantly enveloped the abalone. He immediately grabbed the abalone. Liang Chu, abalone in hand, grinned triumphantly, got it. He and the little monster behind him had caught the abalone. He put it in his bag, calculating that today's harvest was quite substantial and could fetch a considerable sum. Suddenly, a tentacle wrapped around his waist. Liang Chu was astonished by the scene before him. The ferocious appearance of the monster that knocked Liang Chu down appeared. He couldn't help but cough. The monster approached Liang Chu step by step. Looking at the situation before him, he wondered to himself, what is this? Liang Chu suddenly remembered hearing that there was a six-whiskered catfish man-eater at the bottom of the Yixing River. Bad luck, I've actually met it. Seeing its ferocious appearance, the gathering water bubbles and electric shocks around him, he became even more flustered. What kind of technique is this? It's going to attack again. Liang Chu raised his hand, activating the system's water control power. Immediately afterward, the water bubble created by the monster shattered, much to its surprise. Liang Chu breathed a sigh of relief. That was dangerous. Luckily, I reacted quickly. However, the monster powerfully threw him onto his back, making him want to curse, so cunning. Looking at the monster before him, he wondered, is it laughing? The monster lunged again ferociously. Unexpectedly, a clever crocodile swished its tail, blocking it for him. The clever crocodile turned around again. It directly used its large teeth to bite the neck of the catfish monster. Liang Chu placed his hand on the stone at this moment. His wound quickly attracted the catfish monster closer. At this point, if I don't defeat it, I'm dead. The system then issued a new notification, bloodline subjugation. A bright spell appeared. He thought to himself, I have enough mental strength, I should be able to subdue it. Ignoring the red alert from the system, Liang Chu still reached out to stop the monster. The system again issued a warning, the host's action will lead to mental overload. Please stop this action. Low mental strength will cause the control of aquatic creatures to be ineffective. Please stop this action immediately. Please stop immediately. Warning, mental strength is approaching a critical level. Stop immediately. Warning, mental strength overload. He mustered his strength and shouted resolutely. The monster's eyes flashed with light. But then it became dazed and unaware of what was happening. The boat continued to drift. Liang Chu managed to crawl onto the side of the boat. He panted, finally back. I didn't expect the catfish monster's mental strength to be so strong. I almost got it. Liang Chu looked into the distance and sighed, but he looked at the two monsters below and rejoiced. The harvest is still great. The system issued a new notification. You have subjugated the six-whiskered catfish. It can evolve. It costs 800 million spirit swamp points to evolve the six-whiskered catfish into a tiger-head catfish. Liang Chu glanced at it for a while, then came up with a new idea. You're so fat, I'll call you a fei. He continued to pour out the fish, calculating, it's time to deal with the harvest. Liang Chu watched the crocodile open its mouth to eat the fish, feeling a little regretful. Ah, that was a baby abalone. He patted the clever crocodile's head in praise. Invincible, you're truly reliable. Today's fish harvest was then put into the boat. Liang Chu started cooking fish on the fire salute, first eating a small one to try and see if he could increase his strength. The fish now only had bones left. I took a small piece of this small corner and left it as a souvenir. It was very good. At the same time, the system announced the essence of water trach plus 18. Seeing this, Liang Chu couldn't help but exclaim that 18 points of profit could be compared to 18 pieces of essence. He considered it, if the small fish yielded this much, the large one must be 3 times more. possibly reaching 54 points of water spirit essence. The current fusion rate is 7.5%, adding the large and small fish, it could easily surpass 10%. Liang Chu looked at his fish haul and realized, but he needed to be patient. The most important thing now was to earn his tuition, but it seemed he had enough. The scene shifts to the Yixing town market. Liang Chu scanned the bustling crowd. He glanced at a group of people chattering excitedly and wondered, last month was the Moon Festival, so what celebration is this? At that time, Tran Kiet Bone was holding the fish up to the person next to him and shouted, "Look, this is a 100-year-old fish that weighs 1 pound, 3 ounces, 6 flowers." Seeing this, everyone was shocked and said, "That fish is real, this kid from the Tran family really has skills." Liang Chu couldn't see because of the crowd, but he was surprised upon hearing that, oh, he caught an abalone too. He tried to push his way into the crowd, but someone recognized him. "Isn't that young Master Liang, in a hurry to reincarnate?" Liang Chu stood near 2 fishmongers and pulled out his basket. He cleared his throat and exclaimed, "We've truly been blessed by the river god, we caught 2 abalones in 1 day." Someone didn't believe him. "What nonsense are you talking, young Master Tran only caught 1. Liang Chu took out a fish from his basket, insisting, "I'm saying the second one isn't his." He held up the fish, confidently declaring, "It's mine." Seeing that, a few other people also rushed in to make fun of you. If you're an ugly fish like you're still considered a fisherman, so why are you looking for a big fish and planning to sell it at a high price? They all laughed at him. Chen Jia-chang glanced at Liang Chu's fish and scoffed. Suddenly, a voice came from behind, "Oh, isn't this the Crimson Snow Abalone?" Hu Qi arrived with his group. Everyone was surprised. "Isn't that Master, the martial arts master from the Yang Martial Arts Academy? It's really him, he truly has an extraordinary aura." He directly asked Chen Jia-chang, "How much are you selling it for?" Tran Kiet Thuong immediately had difficulty waking up and replied, "Sir, whatever you think is reasonable." Hu Qi asked, "How much does it weigh?" The answer, 1 jin, 7 liang, and 6 fun. He then negotiated, "Would you sell it for 3 liang?" Chen Jia-chang readily agreed, 3 liang, sold, sold, sold. Liang Chu seized the opportunity, holding up his fish and asking Master Hu Qi, "Please take a look at mine." When the other guys saw that, they looked down on me and looked down on you. "Good man, you're really too shameless and foolish. If you anger our martial arts master, we'll all be dragged along, right?" Hu Qi now seriously examined it. "Oh, this is an oxhorn fish." Liang Chu confidently replied, "That's right, 1.5 jin, 2 liang, and 1 fun." He realized, so it's called an oxhorn fish. Hu Qi offered a price, 6 liang and 5 su for this one. "Will you sell it?" The onlookers were astounded. 6 liang and 5 su, my goodness, our family hasn't had that much silver in generations. Tran Kiet Thuong was immediately stunned. One of them spitefully remarked, "Be careful, you have the life to earn it, but not the life to spend it." Liang Chu was overjoyed. "Sell, sell quickly, sell." The exhausted Sealing was no longer in the mood, so he picked up the basket and went home. Liang Chu honestly asked Hu Qi, "Boss, I want to ask why my fish can sell for twice the price of red snow lu." He honestly replied, "The hard scales of the oxhorn fish can be used as medicine, made into a honey pill that refines blood and helps break down blood clots. I'm currently facing this problem, and it's incredibly useful to me." Liang Chu understood, "So that's why, thank you, Master." He felt a sense of relief. "It's a good thing I kept the hard scale from the small fish." Evening shadows fell upon the rooftops. Liang Chu counted the money in his pocket, 6, 7, 8. Suddenly, a figure appeared, looming over him. Li Libo happily put his arms around Liang Chu's shoulders and praised the young man who has truly made a name for the people in our small village. Recognizing him, Liang Chu shyly replied, "It's you, I haven't properly thanked you yet from that day." After hearing this, he proudly said, "Give me 6 taels." At this point, Liang Chu immediately showed him a pale expression. He also asked, "Oh, right, I have a question. Do you know how much the Yang Martial Arts Academy's recruitment fee is?" He nudged Liang Chu, confidently replying, "You're asking the right person, my father's planning to get me in there." Li Libo continued, "Master Yang's academy requires 7 liang, without board and lodging, 10 liang, including lodging, or 20 liang, including lodging and medicinal herbs. Food costs are separate, though it's slightly more expensive than the other two academies. It's worth it for its professionalism and reputation. Liang Chu smiled slightly, considering the 7 liang I've earned these past few days, plus donations, the 6 liang and 5 su from today's sale, and the 131 from the fish I caught earlier. I have 9 liang and 2 su, that's enough. I immediately stood up and informed him that we should go register together tomorrow. Li Libo couldn't help but tease you, turns out you're a rich man, so it's not a problem. Suddenly, an eerie voice echoed in Liang Chu's ear, revealing a giant abalone. He immediately turned his head, alert. A sign appeared, clearly reading Zhao Mansion. The man solemnly reported, Lai Tu's whereabouts are unknown, but the clues lead to a young man named Liang Qiyu. The mysterious person, disgusted, ordered, such a small matter doesn't need to bother me, solve it yourself every day. He frowned, his expression darkening. That night, on a small boat in the middle of the river, Liang Chu began to show off his skillful culinary talents. He sliced the young bamboo shoots, skillfully tending the fire, then added them to the pot. After a while, seeing the soup was cooked, he opened the lid. Looking at the delicious fish soup, his heart felt at ease. Without hesitation, Liang Chu ladled a bowl and took a sip. The amazing flavor made him feel ecstatic, exclaiming, delicious, beside a fei, drooling uncontrollably. Seeing this, Liang Chu generously dropped some food into the water for the 2 little ones, saying, you guys eat something too. At that moment, the system displayed, Aquatic Essence plus 24. He clasped his hands, exclaiming, the abalone's aquatic essence is truly generous, my physical strength has also increased significantly. Liang Chu looked down at a fei, smiling, this is truly lucky, a fei found another abalone. Suddenly, he slapped his thigh excitedly, that's right, should level up, last time I got 18 points, and now another 24. Without further ado, he pressed the level up button. Before his eyes, a radiant spirit beast appeared behind him. Looking at his palm, he excitedly felt the power surging continuously. Immediately afterward, the system displayed a series of updated stats and new skills. Overjoyed, Liang Chu punched the air and laughed, if someone came to spar with me now, that would be great. He snapped his fingers, the water instantly changed, sweeping a fei into the air. Seeing this, Liang Chu excitedly said, my water control ability has greatly increased. He continued to observe a fei, realizing that feeding it small fragments significantly reduced the amount of essence needed for evolution. The system displayed, Aquatic Beast Great Flower Abalone, requires 779 points of aquatic essence to evolve into Armored Wood Abalone. Liang Chu took out an item, looking at it questioningly, this is strange, was it man-made or naturally formed? He pondered, examining it closely. One side resembled a Yinglong, mythical dragon, the other a giant ape. Above were images of gods, a serpentine-bodied god with a human head and a mysterious dark-robed emperor. After a moment's thought, he squeezed it tightly, muttering, forget it, thinking about it won't help now. Liang Chu's eyes were full of determination. Tomorrow, I can go to the martial arts academy. I must quickly become stronger to deal with the Zhao family. Time slowly passed, and dawn broke. Liang Chu and La Ba sat in the back of a cargo truck, heading elsewhere. La Ba excitedly raised his hand and shouted, let's go. After a while, he anxiously asked the driver, how much longer until we arrive? Everything was new to La Ba, it was like his first time out in the world. He excitedly gestured and said, Liang Chu, look. Liang Chu glanced in that direction indifferently. Finally, they arrived at Pingyang town. Before getting off the truck, La Ba cheerfully greeted the driver. Their first stop was a nearby eatery. Liang Chu looked on wearily as La Ba was moved to tears by a few baozi, steamed buns. Afterward, they went to a stall where clay figurines were being made and watched curiously. Next, they visited a martial arts performance, watching a spectacular stone-breaking demonstration that drew gasps of amazement from the crowd. In contrast to the lively atmosphere, in a corner of the town, a grim-faced man spoke darkly, you say that kid will really pass by here. The person across from him, arms crossed, grinned, of course. I heard him say to that kid from the Li family that he'd register at the Yang Family Martial Arts Academy today. He pointed to 2 others, continuing, this kid sold fish yesterday, but earned 6 liang and 5 su. Do you know how much that is? you couldn't buy it even if you sold your wife. One nervously warned, 6 liang and 5 su, we could be arrested and sent to the magistrate's office. He coldly snorted, what do you know, giving that much money to the academy is wasteful, we're helping him manage his finances. The group stood before an alley, whispering amongst themselves, this is the only path to the martial arts academy, it's deserted now, a good opportunity. Just then, Liang Chu and La Ba arrived. A man stepped into the middle of the road, stop talking, they're here. La Ba was full of excitement, gesticulating and punching, asking Wade, I've finished school, how many people do you think I can beat? Liang Chu leisurely replied that he didn't know. He wondered, I don't know how many people I can beat right now, if I could win against a few. Suddenly a guy rushed out and shouted loudly at the guy in the red shirt. Then another person smiled triumphantly and coldly threatened the kid to meet again and then handed over all the money on your person. He continued to mock, you can choose to hand over the money, or these brothers will leave you lying on the roadside. The others immediately joined in his laughter. Liang Chu just looked at them and chuckled, oh, so I choose to leave you all lying on the roadside. According to the system display, I have a total of 9 taels and 2 cents of gold that I can't touch, and a water monkey stove with 17% fusion. The men then aggressively lunged towards him, fists raised, shouting, you're looking for death. But before they could even hurt him, they received a devastating punch from Liang Qiu. His accomplices, seeing this, rushed from behind, cursing, you little brat. And like his close brothers, they received a punch to the face. Then, he gave him an extra gentle punch to the head, causing him to groan. Then, he threw him towards his companion. The other man's eyes widened in horror as he looked at his companions. But before he could see for long, darkness fell before his eyes. Liang Chu then gently punched him to the ground. Seeing this, La Ba's mouth dropped in amazement, so fast, 9 strikes, and the fight is over. Liang Chu couldn't believe his eyes either, he stared intently at his palm. Then he clenched his fist, letting out a sigh of relief, as expected, my physical strength has increased significantly. From behind, La Ba came up, curiously asking, when did you become so powerful, you still need a master. He chuckled nervously, replying, maybe I'm a genius. With that, Liang Chu turned around, saying, let's go, otherwise, we'll be late for the enrollment. La Ba clearly didn't believe him, looking at him with suspicion. Meanwhile, at the Yang-style martial arts academy. As they entered, Xiang Chongsong smiled and introduced himself, I am Xiang Chongsong, you can call me Brother Xiang. They politely replied in unison, greetings, Brother Xiang. He enthusiastically guided them, come with me, I'll take you to another instructor for a checkup and detailed explanation about martial artists. Arriving there, Zhang Tong pointed and said, this is Brother Hu, your instructor, he is a direct disciple of Master Yang. Liang Chu exclaimed in surprise, isn't he the martial arts master who bought fish from me the other day? Hu Qi turned to them with a warm smile, so it's you too? Zhang Tong curiously asked, what a coincidence, Brother Hu, do you know these 2 disciples? He replied, the snow-horned ox I used to level up was bought from this younger brother's stall. Hearing this, he pointed to Hu Qi, perfect, you 2 should learn martial arts from Brother Hu, you can stay overnight at the academy tonight. They bowed and greeted Brother Hu. He turned, gestured with his hand, and said, come with me, next, I'll check your aptitudes. Liang Chu repeated in confusion, aptitudes. Hu Qi laughed reassuringly, don't be nervous, we just assess your aptitude to choose the right martial art for you. He looked at him and asked, we don't even know anything about martial arts, we'd like to ask Brother Hu about its principles. Hearing this, he stroked his chin, pondered for a while, and replied, principles, the foundation of martial arts is divided into 4 stages, skin, flesh, bone, and blood. Regarding the skin stage, your skin becomes tough and resilient, greatly enhancing your defense. In the flesh stage, your strength greatly increases, lifting someone with one hand is nothing difficult. The bone stage further unleashes strength, allowing you to break stones and shatter bricks. Finally, the blood stage is like embroidery on silk, providing an overall enhancement. Hu Qi then lectured seriously, the core is the word cultivation, however, even with cultivation, ordinary people have limits, to break these limits, you need 2 elements, method and medicine. In other words, you need to cultivate knowledge and supplement things that benefit the leveling up process. La Ba's eyes widened, questioning, method and medicine. Hu Qi explained further, yes, method refers to techniques, for example, the three-fist technique of our Yang Style Academy. With techniques, you have steps to advance. Liang Chu thought to himself, it must be something like a cultivation technique. Then he asked, what about medicine? Hu Qi added, techniques are the steps to advancement, but these steps are steep and dangerous. You need a handrail to move quickly and steadily, and that handrail is medicine. He enthusiastically gave another example, the snow fish you sold is the medicine we need. Now, I understand, with the water monkey stove, I can easily obtain these things. Hu Qi maintained his attitude and advised, don't rush, disciples, the path of martial arts is long. First, pay attention to your steps. Liang Chu then extended his hand towards him, saying, thank you, brother Hu, please check our aptitudes. In a place not far away, when the two of them weren't paying attention, there was a group of people secretly plotting. The blue-haired guy is Lu Din Tai. He secretly told the person next to Mr. True that the person you said was him. The other person replied, that's right, just get those two out of the martial arts hall. That's Zhao Shuiyuan. He looked at Liang Chu with murderous intent and continued, what you said, I can decide to help you. In another place, in the study, the butler reported to the old master, this Liang Chu is only 15 years old, he's a perfect ingredient for refining pills, his age is the same as the third young master's, and he's an orphan. He paused, just make him into a pill, for the third young master's body. Zhao agreed, Yuaner has been frail since childhood, finding a life-restoring pill of the same age is too difficult, this Liang Chu is truly the best ingredient. Outside, a figure silently eavesdropped on the conversation. Old Zhao continued, but I heard this boy intends to join the Yang Martial Arts Hall. With Yang Dongheng's personality, it'll be difficult for us to act. After a while, the butler said, yes, old master, this subordinate will withdraw. At this time, that person picked up Liang Chu's photo from the butler. She dropped her profound eyes that said I must eat the immortal pill to get rid of anyone who stands in my way. Without another word, he crushed the paper, his voice cold as he uttered a single word, death. On the other side, Li Ba was shocked, pointing at Liang Chu and exclaiming, unbelievable, this boy, he has the best foundation, only comparable to those of the highest level. He stamped his foot in anger, interrupting Liang Chu's discouragement, this is natural talent. Li Ba ran after him, breathlessly shouting, wait for me, hurry, let's get to the martial arts arena. Li Ba was startled, huh. On their way, they encountered Chen Jiexiang. Seeing him, Li Ba incredulously said, Chen Jiexiang. Li Ba aggressively approached him and asked, why are you here? Chen Jiexiang retorted without hesitation, why can't I be here? You can come, why can't I? They were about to fight, with Li Ba shouting, brat, you want to fight? Liang Chu arrived and pulled them apart, you're both from the same hometown, forget it, forget it. Then, he greeted Jiexiang, Jie Ji. Jiexiang only grunted in response. Liang Chu thought, Chen Jiexiang is also from Yixing City, 2 years older than me, he's a famous fisherman in town, and has a good relationship with the old owner. He then asked, Jie Ji, you're here to practice martial arts too? Jiexiang, clenching his fists, seriously replied, yes, in this world, who doesn't want to be strong, so I sold all my fish, saved up the money, and came here. Liang Chu smiled, then let's go to the martial arts arena to train, Hu Shixiang is already teaching over there, Li Ba urgently said, yes, 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 if we don't go now, we won't be able to join. At the arena, everyone was training hard, their punches full of power. Everyone had strong physiques and trained seriously. But Li Ba seemed to be struggling, his face contorted. Not only him, but Liang Chu and Jiexiang were also struggling. Hu Qi raised his hand, signaling a rest. He looked at them and said, everyone, take a break, this afternoon, Coach Luo will guide you to continue training. The three of them, breathless, leaned against a tree. Li Ba couldn't take it anymore, I'm so tired, I want to give up. Jiexiang coldly snorted, good for nothing. Suddenly, someone sneered, I was wondering where that fishy smell was coming from. On the opposite side, Luo Yen Kai glared at them with disgust, grinding his teeth, that smell is unbearable, can you get away from here? Xue Ding Yi added, yes, were these three born from the belly of a fish? Yan Kai gestured with his hand and sneered, each of you give us 2 liang, and we'll let you stay. Li Ba was about to charge at him, but Jie Xiang stopped him, calm down, don't cause trouble for Shi Xiang Hu. Liang Chu uncomfortably thought, with my current strength, I can't handle these 3. Yan Kai naturally wouldn't let it go, he stretched, his expression dark, you still want to spar, come on, I'm about to break through my bottleneck and want to test my skills. Liang Chu grasped his meaning and secretly thought, a bottleneck, what if it's in the middle of the river? Li Ba was furious and cursed, damn it. But suddenly, someone from behind spoke, causing the 3 of them to jump, Luo Yan Kai, what are you doing? It was Hu Qi, annoyed, he pointed inside and ordered, if you have nothing to do, go stand there for half an hour. Yan Kai still glared at them, grinding his teeth, consider yourself lucky, brat, but there's no place for cowards here. Hu Qi coldly shouted, didn't you hear me? Yan Kai reluctantly went over, yes, Shi Xiang Hu. Li Ba made a gesture from behind and cursed, damn those bastards, Jie Xiang calmly said, cursing from behind is useless. Liang Chu silently thought, still, I need to focus on getting stronger. He said, Li Ba, Jie Ji, I need to go home. Before they could reply, he ran off, please excuse me this afternoon, I need to take a leave. Li Ba was confused, what's wrong? Jie Xiang replied, who knows. Liang Chu ran, worried, the enemies, this is what will make me strong, nothing can go wrong. A day later, it was evening, Li Ba and Jie Xiang were on their way back to their lodging. Lap Ba looked up and sighed, it's been a day, but this kid Liang Chu still hasn't come back. Kiet Diang crossed his arms and replied that the emperor was not in a hurry, the eunuch probably had his own work to do. They had only spoken 1 sentence before they started arguing again. Lap Ba gritted his teeth and yelled, are you provoking me? He rolled up his sleeves, angrily replying, you little brat, you deserve a beating. Both suddenly stopped when they heard an unusual sound. The person clapped excitedly, looks like heaven has opened its eyes today, to think I'd run into both of you. It was Dian Tai, he grinned, adding, today, you won't have Hu Shixiang to back you up anymore. Lap Ba, filled with hatred, gritted his teeth and roared, it's you. Dian Tai wasn't alone, a group of people stood behind him, he looked confident, replying, let's see if I can cripple both of you. Night had fallen, the wind blew in gusts across the reeds. A blue crab appeared at the bottom of the lake. Liang Chu was also there, standing firmly on a Phi, refusing to move. Liang Chu's eyes were fixed ahead, a Phi and Bu Dong were nearing there by Guan limits, yet they could still make those 2 beasts cower and send me a message, what was it? Suddenly realizing something, he hid behind the reeds, then. A second later, the lake bed was scarred with countless deep gouges, the creature that made those marks must be enormous. Suddenly, a Phi and Bu Dong reverted to their mini forms. Before Liang Chu's eyes appeared a strange object, shocking him. After eating the abalone last time, his fusion degree had reached 11.7, he could control up to 70 kilograms of water, and more importantly, his underwater perception had expanded by 1 meter, now reaching 6 meters. His eyes showed a look of horrified awe at the thing before him. That inky black, gigantic body, those red eyes, what was it? A monster, was it that? Looking at the 2 claws and sharp, serrated teeth, Liang Chu involuntarily exclaimed, is this, a crab? It was a gigantic, monstrous crab, terrifyingly huge, this thing was way too big. Facing this crab monster, Liang Chu broke into a sweat, he thought, with a body that large, could it have become a spirit beast? According to the tiger's training, monsters exceeding the Baiguan level are called spirit beasts, with this size, it must be one. He looked at Bu Dong, it wasn't necessarily weak, otherwise, Bu Dong and a Phi wouldn't have had a chance to escape. Deep down, Liang Chu was still deeply troubled, can I do this? I don't have a plan. He gripped the iron bar, becoming stronger, should follow my plan, but memories surfaced in Liang Chu's mind, the monster. And that scornful look, just like his father's, that condescending gaze. Finally, Lu Dingtai's smug face, this place has no room for 3 cowards like you. Returning to reality, Liang Chu braced himself, adopting a fighting stance, but surprise and danger are always intertwined with my life. He had nothing left to lose, things that can change your life happen unexpectedly, great things happen by chance, while trivial things are meticulously planned. Therefore, Liang Chu became even more determined, gripping the iron bar while summoning his strength. I won't give up, I'm not used to giving what's mine to others. Liang Chu's face darkened, he wanted my life, so he died. His eyes showed unwavering determination. You want my lotus field, let's see who's more capable. Then a Fai and Bu Dong grew to their normal size. From behind Liang Chu, they charged into battle. All three attacked the spirit beast simultaneously. In another scene, a man, his face bruised and battered, lay sprawled on the ground. It was Lu Ding Tai. He was incredibly arrogant. You're tough, huh, how's your comrade? While he was off guard, Lap Ba grabbed a brick. And with that, he decisively smashed it down, sending him to his grandfather's house. Though the blow was quite painful, this guy was tough, he grinned, still smiling brightly. Then he stepped on Lap Ba's unfortunate face. He glared menacingly, I see you two deserve to die today. He glanced at his subordinates, 3 of you, guard the gate, I want to slowly torture these two. The 3 scruffy-looking men simultaneously obeyed, yes. Lap Ba, furious, from the ground, punched at him, aiming for a faceful of fists. Damn it, but he was easily blocked. Not only that, but he also twisted Lap Ba's arm, making it look very painful. That triumphant expression was truly irritating. That beak of his was also quite something. Damn you, you're so talkative, say something else. Then he grabbed the other guy's head, and you, those eyes are quite impressive, aren't they, nerves? With the most despicable expression, he said, I'll gouge out those eyes for those 2 hunting dogs to practice with. Lap Ba, beside him, could only yell, trying to stop him, damn it, stop it, you madman. Our eyes met, our fingers touched. Oh my god, I thought I did it for real. I just saw a loud scream ring out and was covered by a red line. You guys probably know I'm not joking. When it was finished, there was a loud clicking sound to stop him.